Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Hope everybody's great today. So today we're going to be talking again about gratitude. And the reason I talk about gratitude again is because I've done a podcast on this before. I've talked about the importance of it and what it does for your day and how things can be better and it's more mentally healthy and it helps your relationships with other people. I talked about all that, but it never really dawned on me why, for adult children of alcoholics and dysfunctional families, it is such a hard concept. Because one of my clients said to me the other day, Tammy, I can do all the exercises, I can write it down, I can wake up in the morning and I can say five things I'm grateful for and everything else, but I don't feel it. I don't mean it. I don't truly believe it. I don't feel grateful. And why? She didn't know why. And I started really thinking about it and going back to all the people that I've talked about and even myself. And as always with everything, when you grew up in a dysfunctional household, in the chaos, in the turmoil, in the emotional neglect, in the abandonment, in all of the stuff that did not let us build normal foundational skills or attitudes or beliefs, it was more complex. It was more complicated. So I really started digging in and I started thinking about why. Why now, 30 years later, somebody that grew up in chaos, why are they having trouble feeling grateful? Why are they having trouble having an attitude of gratitude? And it all stems back to those beliefs and that conditioning that happened when we were younger. So I kind of came up with five main reasons. And I'm going to go over them today and see if any of this resonates with you. Just because, like I said, I give exercises, I tell people, and I do this practice myself. I wake up in the morning and I say five things that I'm grateful for, but I truly believe it and I truly feel it. And that is because I've done all the other work. I've gotten rid of all those underlying beliefs that I'm not worthy or I'm not important or that I don't deserve to be grateful for things. So we're working on it, guys. We're working on it together and we can heal together. We can do it together. That's why we're here. This is why this podcast exists, because I want people, I mean, having an attitude of gratitude is such a fundamental concept in having a happy life. If you can be grateful for the little things, the big things aren't so hard. But we got to get there. We got to get to where you are grateful for the little things. So, what are the five reasons? I'm going to go back to that. I'm rambling a little bit, but that's because that's what I do. I talk a lot and things just kind of come to me. So bear with me. So, number one, we were conditioned to focus on problems. We were conditioned to know that when in a chaotic and unpredictable environment, you're at high alert. You're looking for the next shoe to drop. You're looking for the next bad thing to happen. You're looking for potential threats and problems. You're not focusing on the positive things. I could be grateful as a child that I had an ice cream cone, but you better believe within 5 minutes I would spill that ice cream cone, I would get spanked. I would drop it, I would drip it down my arms, I would be called disgusting or dirty or something. Something bad would happen. So I stopped looking at those positive things. I stopped being grateful for the little things because I knew there was something coming next that was not going to necessarily be so pleasant. And what do we do? What happens to ourselves when we do something over and over again? When we dismiss the positive because the negative is to follow, it becomes a habit. And again, those habits will follow us into adulthood. And believing that something bad is going to happen after something good happens is a very deeply ingrained belief. And it is and you react on those beliefs, and those are hard habits to break, but we can do it. We can, again, working together, we can learn to break those habits. So, what is number two? Um, Basically, a feeling of self worth and low self worth and deservedness. I don't feel like I deserve good things. I didn't feel like I could be grateful for something because I didn't truly believe that I was worthy to have it. So I might have this beautiful house and this amazing husband and three children that I absolutely love. But there was a time in my life when I could have had all that and I still didn't believe that I deserved that. So I didn't believe I deserved happiness. I didn't believe I deserved support, and I didn't believe I deserved good things. You've heard me say in so many of my podcasts that there's a little test that you can do, and I took it from a psychologist. I didn't come up with this idea, But she says to her, she says to her clients, ask yourself about your favorite food. How do you feel when you're eating your favorite food or playing your favorite game? And picture and envision the feelings that you have when you are eating the food. I always use butter pecan ice cream because it's my absolute favorite. So when I'm eating that butter pecan ice cream, I feel warm and fuzzy and happy, and I can picture myself snuggled up on the couch with my big bowl of ice cream and my blanket, and I feel good. Now say to yourself, I deserve all good things. And then pause and think. Because if you get a feeling, anything other than the feeling you got when you did the first thing, envisioning your favorite food, then you don't truly believe you feel or you deserve all good things. So when you don't feel that you believe them, it's hard to be grateful for them because you don't believe you deserve them. You don't think you should have them, and you're not going to be as grateful as you should be. The third one is a lack of role model for gratitude in general. Growing up, I never saw people acting grateful for things. There was always anger and hostility and animosity and tension and contention and bitterness. Very seldom did I see anybody act truly grateful for something. Unfortunately, the only time I ever did was when I went to church. And even there, some of my church experiences were wrapped around a lot of hypocrisy and a lot of lies that I encountered with family members and things like that. So even there, when I had that experience of it, witnessing something and an attitude of gratitude, I felt like it was not real and not true. The next one is just a fear of vulnerability. And that is a big one. And that is another one that, again, follows us into adulthood. When you're grateful for something, what does that do? How does it open you up, and how does it open up your heart? It opens up your heart for positive feelings. It opens up your heart for just openness. I mean, literally, that's what it does. When you're grateful, you have this feeling of openness and joy and happiness. And what does that do to someone that has been through a lifetime of trauma? It makes them feel vulnerable. It makes them feel that something dangerous is lurking around the corner. It makes them feel that every time something joyful happened or a good feeling happened, that it was going to be followed by something hurting or disappointing. So children tended to learn to not open themselves up to a feeling of joy or happiness because they were so afraid of it going away. So it was almost like they were afraid of the abandonment of that feeling or of that feeling of gratitude because they knew it was going to be quickly squashed. And again, it goes back to habits. It goes back to what we believe and what we think. But there's that old saying, it is better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. And this is the same feeling for same thing for the feeling of gratitude. When you feel gratitude, you're feeling love for something. You're feeling love for the idea that you have something. You're feeling grateful and happy and joyful that you have something. And so many of us are so afraid that that's going to be taken away that they're not willing to open up and risk it. But we can. We can definitely open up and risk it. And we can definitely let ourselves be vulnerable a little bit. I know it's hard, and sometimes you need a safe person to do that with. And that's what I'm here to do with you. That's why we're here to work through this together. Ask me questions. How do you open up yourself to be vulnerable and get rid of that feeling that something bad is lurking around the corner or that the joy is not going to last? Those are things we can work on together. And the last one is a very big one. It's the survival mode mentality. Picture back, if you can resonate with any of this, to a time when you were younger, where after going through the healing that you've been doing and the stories that you've been talking through, that you were in survival mode, that you knew you were just trying to do whatever you had to do to survive. What were you thinking about then? You were thinking about coping. You were thinking about your next meal. You were thinking about ways to be good so that you didn't get in trouble. You were thinking about how to manage your life and just survive rather than taking the time and the energy and the focus and putting it on appreciating things, because you can't do that. Your body is wired for survival. So first and foremost, before you do anything else, before you think about joy and happiness and connections and all that stuff, all you're trying to do is survive. So many of us, as we know, are stuck in that survival mode. We're stuck in that phase of our life, or it's still going in on that phase of our life where we're just trying to get through to the next moment. We're just trying to get through that day at a job. We're just trying to survive one more day with that husband that we should have never picked. We're just trying to do all of these things and we're in survival mode. So when you're in survival mode, it is very, very difficult to focus on gratitude because subconsciously you're waiting for something to go wrong. And that's really what it's about. It's like we don't want to hold on to this good feeling because we know something is coming around the corner that's going to smack us in the head like a 2x4 and it's going to take it away. But because that's what growth is about. That's what shifting patterns is about. That's what changing habits is about. And that's why we're here. And that's why we have podcasts like this. That's why we have coaches. That's why we have therapists. That's why we have counselors. That's why we have support groups. That's why all of this is here, because these habits, just as they were wired into our brains and into our subconscious, they can also be unwired and rewired and reconnected to better habits, better thoughts, better ideas, better feelings of gratitude. I don't know exactly what episode it was that we talked about gratitude, but I'm actually going to find it here for you so that you can go back to and you can listen to it so that you can start to really put some of the things that I talked about into place. It's episode 101 and it's called The Power of Gratitude. But there's a lot of exercises and things that you can do every day. I talk a lot about the waking up in the morning and talk, 5 things before you step out of bed that you're grateful for. But if you don't truly, truly, truly feel grateful, you got to start smaller than that. And baby steps is my mantra. Baby steps, one step at a time. So find something very small that you're grateful for today. Don't go looking for the big things yet if they're not there. I remember when I first started this journey, I didn't think I had anything in the world to be grateful for. But I had a brother, I had a sister, I had parents, I had a roof over my head. I did have those things. But in the heat of the moment, it was very hard to focus on them as things to be grateful because even then, it didn't feel good. So start small. Look around your room, look around your house, look around while you're driving in the car. Find something in nature to be grateful for. Today it's a beautiful sunny day in Florida. I'm very grateful that I live in Florida. I'm very grateful that I'm not in the cold. I think my daughter said it was 20 degrees and snowing when she went hiking yesterday. So, yeah, but you know what? She's out there being grateful for the weather and being grateful that she loves the outdoors because that's what it's all about. It's taking every single situation and turning it into something that you can be grateful for. I wish someone had told me that 45 years ago when I was taking every single situation and I was becoming a victim from it. And it was things that were happening to me, not for me. Um, we can learn together about how to do this. But my best advice today is to start small and be grateful for one thing, even if it's just that you're standing here today. Because my friends, if you're standing here today, you have something to be grateful for. You've survived. You're a thriver. You're amazing and you are beautiful. And that's really all I wanted to say today. I wanted to kind of, like I said, build back up on that feeling of gratitude because as always, like I said, being the child of an adult child of an alcoholic or a dysfunctional family or the chaos or the confusion, it makes things a little more complex. It makes things a little more difficult than just an, a healthy, well-adapted person can conceive of. So we have to do a little extra work. We have to dig a little deeper. And that's what I'm here to do. So thank you again for stopping by. Check out the show notes. We have all kinds of freebies in there, all kinds of gifts, all kinds of links to other things that you can take part in that can really, really, really hopefully resonate with you and jumpstart that healing journey even quicker. You all have a blessed day. Love you all. I'll be back.